Dear Jason, I'm just wondering. Obviously, most of your movies are shot at the cruise ranch and mostly inside, though there have been a handful of great outdoor ones too. So let's say that you were given an unlimited budget and told you could go anywhere in the world to shoot. Where would you go and why? Is the location going to play into the plot and scenes? That is, of course, if there is a plot beyond the hot guys going at one another. And what about a great locale tie-in title? I'm just curious. Thanks for being a bright spot and fun spot and funny spot to end my day after I come home from teaching 28 third graders every day. Mr. Crabtree. I almost wonder, though, what happens when those third graders grow up and they run into their teacher at the local gay watering. I don't know. I mean, I actually ran into a few of my student teachers anyway at gay clubs, and a couple of those ended kind of nicely. To answer your question, location's really actually not that big a deal to me. I mean, I shot a documentary. My first ever sort of long form movie I ever did was a documentary about frat men that we shot in Australia. And honestly, the fact that I got a chance to do that was really cool, and I'm really glad that I did. So I'm not gonna, say that wasn't special about it, and the fact that we were somewhere else on vacation meant that it turned into a really, a really cool thing. But the two ideas that I've actually got to do a porn movie, the location wouldn't really matter. I could shoot them here in LA. One of them is that I'd like to do a sort of Fight Club type thing, and for that you really just need like a really dirty basement and a whole lot of dirty guys. And I realize that that's it's been done before and all that, but I would really love to do something like super stylized, with lots of body fluids and lots of really cool camera angles and probably some good sort of sound design and lots of slow motion, fast motion, lots of jump cuts. I would love to do something like that. I don't know how realistic it is to try to put something like that together for a website, but I would really love to do something. I think it would be really cool. The other idea that I've had sort of floating around for years, which I'll probably never get the chance or the budget to do. There was a Michael Bay movie, and I'm not really much of a fan of Michael Bay movies, but he did this one about 5 years ago that was totally unlike most of his movies. It was called The Island, and it was a complete box office failure, but it sort of looked kind of like an updated version of Logan's Run, and it had a lot of elements that I thought related to another one of my favorite sci-fi movies called THX 1138. Lots of very stark looking things, and everybody's sort of living inside this sort of shopping mall type thing. But if you do ever see that movie, and there's this opening scene that has a lot of just different, very sort of surreal dream sequences. I'd love to do a porn movie that sort of looks like that. I don't know how hot it would be, and I don't know how good it would be as an actual jerk-off material sort of thing, and budget-wise it would probably be something that would be impossible for me to ever do. But again, you wouldn't really need, to go to a particular location. It's not like you would need to fly to South America and shoot something like that. You could do that here in a studio in LA. But yeah, I'd really like to do something like that, and maybe eventually, we can do stuff like that at Cocksure Men. But I don't know. I guess that's about it. I actually have been really lucky that Jake has given a lot of encouragement and a lot of leeway as to the types of scenes that we do. So I'm able to do things like take the guys up into the hills and do a lot of that artifacting where I'm shooting directly into the sun, and there's all and you're just getting silhouettes and sun rays going across, and Jake's been really good about letting me do shit like that. Sometimes he has to really dial me back because the scene that I did with Connor Habib and Tristan Jacks was, I mean, first of all, it was like an hour and a half long, so it was way too long to use, and a lot of it was just these just ridiculous camera angles and stuff like that I was doing. Like I kept doing stuff like this and like crazy lighting effects and stuff like that. And Jake's like, okay, you're gonna give everyone a headache if you include this shot. So he did have to really dial me back. But ultimately, it looks really beautiful and organic, and I really did love the way that I was able to sort of play with the natural light and the shadow and the movement and that sort of fly on the wall look. So I got the tone that I wanted, but it was maybe dialed back a little bit, but not unlike the documentary that I shot in Australia, where the original cut of it was 2 hours long, and it included like a 25-minute clip of the guys playing in the beach that eventually I cut down to about 3 minutes. And there were a few other parts of that thing that you just have to cut out because you realize that just putting whatever you want in there winds up being ridiculously self-indulgent, and you're the only one who thinks that your shit doesn't stink. So that's it. Thanks for the question. Everybody keep sending me questions, and happy Independence Day. Hi, Tulip. Hi, Tulip. Hi, Tulip.